Hey Seawolves, this is Rick Gatteau, the VP Student Affairs, and welcome to my kitchen.
Oh my gosh, it's amazing, it's
now,
beautiful.
Who am I here with today?
Linda Thiel, I work at the Career Center.
And we want to share briefly the history of what we're going to do today. So Linda, why did you want to do the segment today?
Well, Rick generously hosted a Baking with Rick lunch, and he did a Christmas edition one. Mm-hmm. And I'm telling you, he had a just beautiful assortment of cookies that he baked, and he had some very special ones that were delicious. So I mentioned to him we should do something special for Valentine's Day.
And what actually, just a little history on it, my grandparents owned a bake shop, Weber's Bake Shop, many years, many decades ago in fact, and in Port Washington, and they made cookies and everything, and part of the recipe we're going to share today is their infamous, to my family, their cinnamon sugar cookie, which was always a treat for us during the holidays because my grandfather would always make them, bring them to the house, and they would typically be devoured even before Christmas Day. So my mother would actually have to hide them so that we would see them. So I thought it'd be a lot of fun to share this recipe with all of our Stony Brook friends. And Linda is gonna work side by side with me to make the cookies today. So. And we're going to make the recipe available to you as well, so you can cook on your own as well if you like baking as much as we do.
I'm not an expert like Rick, just so you know.
So we're going to take you step by step. So here we have in front of us, Linda, so we've got first set of ingredients, which is 2 sticks of unsalted butter at room temperature. So what I like to do with the butter is just leave it overnight, so it's not too hard or too, you don't want it melted. But you'll see here that we're gonna start, just take our wooden spoon and just start kind of pressing in it to kind of start getting it mixed around a little bit. So let's do that for, just for a couple seconds is fine, because it should also be soft enough to be able to do that. And then the first part of this recipe calls for 1/2 cup of white sugar and 1/2 cup of brown sugar. And I typically do a more packed brown sugar, 1/2 cup. So we already pre-measured it today. So we're gonna take, this is your white sugar. Let's pour that in. Got it, that's great. And the next thing we're gonna do is 1/2 cup of brown sugar. Gonna take that, put that in, could put that to the side. And then let's do a little bit more mixing around of it. So now we can get kind of the butter creamed a little bit more and then mix it in with the white and the brown sugar together. So we'll do that a little bit more. Try to kind of soak up some of the sugar in that to get it mixed more with the butter. It's great. How's it looking?
Looks great.
All right, it's good.
Smells good.
I think it looks the same. So I'm always scared when someone else does it and then mine looks nothing like what they made. But I think we're on par right now. This is pretty good. All right, the next thing we're gonna do to get this part of the recipe is we have 2 eggs for it. So we're each gonna add an egg. Now, how are you with egg cracking?
I don't know. I'm so-so. No shells, no shells.
All right, we're gonna see if this works. So let's try. All right. 1 egg. Just gonna mix that. And by the way, this recipe I think is actually pretty simple. Sometimes I think the simpler recipes are even better than something overly complicated. So, all right, 2nd egg. All right, so we got 2 eggs going in there and we're gonna mix that a bit. Now, just so you know, we do have a hand mixer, which we're gonna use more in a minute, just to really get it all mixed as well as it can be, because doing it by hand is not necessarily enough to get it so you're getting into a dough consistency. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna hold this aside for a second. Obviously we're using a spoon, but obviously a spatula is good to use as well, just to kind of clean the bowl a bit with it. So we're gonna get going with this.
Okay.
Use a spatula a little bit to kind of get it going.
Okay.
And again, you're just gonna keep mixing so it gets gets to be one consistency throughout.
Okay.
So, all right, so now we've got really stage 1 done and mixed. So we can put that to the side because now we've got to get to the next piece, which is ultimately taking the flour. So grab your flour, which is great. And so what we're doing here now is we've got 2.5 cups of flour that I've already, pre-measured for this. And then what we're gonna do next is this is ground almonds. So again, if you're not a nut lover, this is not the recipe for you. So let's combine that with the flour. And you know what I just realized? See, this is bad when I'm not in order of everything. We're gonna go back and do one thing before we actually do this. I forgot to put the famous vanilla in the mix. So we're gonna just go back to the, I'll do it for you here.
Okay.
But back into, this is the butter and sugar mix. we're adding a half a teaspoon of vanilla to it. So half a teaspoon of vanilla gives a nice additional good flavor to it.
Oh, I love the way
All right,
vanilla
so let's
smells.
just mix that a little bit more
Okay.
in it too, just so we know it's all mixed around. Okay, so again, so that part now is totally done. So let's go back to the flour mixture. So we've got the flour here, the almonds we put in that too, and the two other things we've got to do here today. We've got to add a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. So I'm going to do that with you right now. 1/4
Thank you.
teaspoon. I'm taking a 1/4 teaspoon. And then we're also going to do half a teaspoon baking powder. Half a teaspoon baking powder. So we've got that going. And just, you can take this, yeah, you can just take this one, we just mix that around a little bit. Just so, again, you want to make sure it's all spread out throughout the flour mixture. So now, are you ready for the next big step?
Yes.
Okay, the next big step is what we're going to do is we're going to combine the flour mixture into this existing mixture that we've made. So if you want to take, you can do it like this. Just so you start taking the whole bowl, mix it in. Now I'm going to do it gently just by, you can use a spoon or a spatula. I just start to gently mix it together because I don't want the flour to kind of pour outside the bowl. You're trying to get it all mixed up together here. So little by little, just kind of go around the bowl to mix it together, to try to get greater consistency. Because ultimately, what this is going to do, folks, this is going to turn into the dough balls that we're actually going to use to ultimately roll out and make the cutout cookies. And because we're going to celebrate Valentine's Day, we are going to do them as hearts, right? So it'll be extra fun. And I was telling our president that we're going to do this segment, and she was thrilled because she said, you know what? For Valentine's Day, hearts are red, and that's our Stony Brook color. So it all makes perfect sense. So I try to keep it all in the bowl. I will say, by the way, by the end of this whole experience, typically, I have flour everywhere. So we are, I think we're just at a good point now with it. So here's where, you start taking your hands. Are you ready?
Okay.
Oh, but actually, let me do one thing. I got a little plastic wrap because we're ultimately going to wrap these in the plastic wrap. So I would just say what you can do with the consistency is it's about 2 balls you can make out of it. Okay. So I'd grab about half of the dough with your hands.
Okay.
And that's why I just kind of start, get your stress out.
Okay.
Hit the dough.
Dough stress ball.
We're gonna hit the dough and make a stress ball out of it. And so see how it's just gonna form like that?
Okay.
So that really kind of tells you that all the ingredients are fully, what's the word I'm looking for?
Mixed in.
They're fully
Blended
mixed in.
in.
Yeah, they're blended. It's blended well.
Oh, it smells so good.
And so what I'm gonna here, why don't you take with yours, do one thing here, you can put it right in the middle, and then I will pull this down.
Okay.
And look, voila. And then, so we're gonna ultimately make, with each of the bowls we created, we're going to do probably 4 balls worth that we'll get out of this. So the dough balls, you put it in the plastic wrap, and then you put them in the refrigerator for 2 hours to chill. And the reason why you wanna make sure you chill it is if you try to roll the dough without it being chilled, it will be very, very sticky. You don't want that. So put it in the fridge for the 2 hours, then take it out. In our next part, we're gonna show you actually how to roll out the dough and then do the cutouts and then actually bake it. So we've now been chilling the dough for a couple of hours, and as I said, it's important to chill the dough so that it is easy to roll out. So we're gonna put this to the test. But I wanted to share again. This is my grandfather's recipe, and this is actually a journal that my aunt just gave me recently that has actually all handwritten recipes of my grandmother. So the recipe you'll all see today is actually, this is the handwritten in her beautiful penmanship. It's like so my grandmother. So I'm so grateful to have this, and I love it. So we have the oven preheating to 350 right now. So let's try some magic, Linda.
Okay.
You ready? Let's see if this works. So again, you're gonna unwrap the plastic from the dough. I don't use all the dough at once. I'll usually just take take a piece of it.
Okay.
And this is why it's really important to have the flour, because what we're gonna do, we're gonna put flour on the top here of the marble, and then also it just helpful to use flour on a rolling pin because again you're trying to make sure that the dough doesn't stick. So I take a little bit of dough, I'll put a little bit of flour, around it, kind of push it a little bit, and then I just I kind of try to keep it as round as I can, almost like a little pizza, if you will.
Okay.
And then you're going to take your rolling pin and back and forth, just kind of gently back and forth. here, what I can do too is sometimes I might even flip it to make sure, put a little bit more flour, because again, what you mainly you want to avoid it being sticky. So don't be afraid. Again, you don't want to use too much flour because that can dry out the cookie, but just enough here and there. And you're ultimately going to, and you're getting there, that's great, you're going to roll it out to about 1/4 of an inch in thickness. I try to get it quarter throughout. Sometimes it's harder. And what you'll do then is, if you've not done cutout cookies before, I try to do as many as I can using one area rolled out of dough, get the cookie set up, and then if I have extra, I'll use it again and then pull out more dough from the existing pile we have here. So here's the other cool thing. So because we're celebrating Valentine's Day, we've got 3 options of cutout cookies. So the one that I'm going to use here today that I love, this is actually my grandfather's cutout. So it has a lot of memories to use. So I'm going to try it, and then if you want to use one too, whichever one you want to use. So you start hitting the dough down there, and in this it pops out easily. So voila, it works. And then what we're going to do here is we also created, the last part of this is a cinnamon sugar mixture. So it's a cup of sugar, and then it is a full tablespoon of cinnamon. You mix that together. So I've already pre-mixed that for everybody. And what you're gonna do, now you have your cutout right there. Pretty good, that's good. I just dump it in the cinnamon sugar mixture, cinnamon sugar mixture. Get some on top of it, not too heavy, kind of a lighter coat. And then it goes right on the tray. So you're gonna do the same thing. Add that cinnamon sugar. That's the tasty part.
Ooh, it smells good. Okay.
Yep, and you can do both sides or one side, whatever you prefer, and then it'll go on the tray. And then again, what you'll try to use with your cookie cutter, I just try to get as many cookies as I can using that cutter. And one by one, they will go into the cinnamon sugar mix, add the sugar to it, voila. Another one, voila. See, keep going, that's great. So again, I try to make sure I obviously keep the cookies at the same size. If you're using multiple, say you're not just doing Valentine's Day, other cutouts, you may want to make sure you're using the same size cookie, because the amount of time you're going to cook them, you want it to cook evenly. So once you've done enough cookies for the tray, I try to keep them about the same, size cookie, that 1/4 inch thickness. They're in the cinnamon sugar mix. And then they're ready to go in the oven. So again, we've preheated the oven at 350. I generally put them in for about 10 minutes, is what the recipe calls for, but sometimes I will let them stay a little longer. I like them a little bit browner, and you could look at that. If you put in multiple trays, I'll often put 3 trays in at once. I do extend the cooking time, maybe even sometimes 12 to 14 minutes. So again, you have to judge it for yourself what makes sense, but let's do this. We've got a tray we're gonna put in. We've got a tray cooking that's almost done. So let's put this in, and then we'll take a tray out. Ooh, look at this.
Wow, those are beautiful.
So look, it's great. So we've got a set of cookies here.
Wow.
We need to let them cool down a little bit. It's just great. So they really look nice. They just the kind of the right, I think, brownness that we want in them. So Linda, should we try one?
Absolutely.
All right, you ready? All right. They're a little bit warm, but let's try. Okay, ready? I feel like
delicious.
I'm not kidding. It feels like my grandfather made them. So I just love having this family recipe.
So good.
So take the recipe. Hopefully you enjoy Seawolves, and happy baking.